there?
It's me, Magic the Amateuring, episode 244.
Oh, well, come on into the foyer.
Ooh, this is a lovely foyer.
Thank you. I purchased a house that's 90% foyer, so this is most of it.
Wow. Where do you have a bathroom?
Yes, that is the other 10% of my house.
Oh, where do you sleep?
I'm in the foyer.
Oh, you're in the foyer. Oh, yes, indeed. There's
my bed.
Your bed right there. Okay.
Yeah.
I noticed you don't have a stove.
No.
A grand staircase that goes to a bathroom, I assume?
Yeah, that's my house is 90% floor level foyer and 10% upstairs bathroom. I really, I had to get an architect to work on it specially for me, and they checked back with me a lot of times.
Did just out of curiosity, did a lot of them just turn you down and say, I won't build that?
Yes. A lot of people were like, this is a monstrosity. I think I've showed them.
Looking at it from the outside, I was confused, I will admit.
Yeah, you wondered why my house was just one
long flat area and then
a tiny little upstairs. Yeah. Well, now you know.
Well, I love the statue in the front.
Thank you.
Looks like a blood fountain.
It is a blood fountain.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
And that is a metaphor for what this episode of Magic the Amateuring will be: a long front flat downstairs with a tiny little upstairs.
Wait, what's the upstairs of the episode?
The upstairs of the episode is like the knowledge you'll gain, and the downstairs of the 90% foyer
is the BS that we're going to talk.
Yes.
That you're going to have to get through to get to it.
To get to the knowledge bathroom.
Exactly. I'm one of your hosts of this podcast, Magic the Amateuring. My name is Megan.
And my name is Maria. And on this episode, we're going to talk about, guess what? Ixalan.
That's right. The pre-release was this past weekend. Woo! So we finally got our hands on these sick, sweet, awesome cards.
Oh, dinos and pirates and merfolks and vampies.
Oh my.
Yes. The pre-release happened, and we got a lot of good stories from you out there in listener land who are tweeting at us from your pre-releases. So thank you so much for interacting with us on the internet. And that is, in fact, why inner is in the word internet, because of the interaction that you do with us.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That's what they had in mind when Al Gore made it. So
do you know
what?
That's like not wrong.
It kind of isn't.
I mean, they both interaction has the root inter.
Yeah.
Because of its meaning, as does the word internet.
Internet.
Language is fun.
Language is so fun. And one fun thing of language is...
Fun thing of language.
Card names, which we'll be referencing, of course, on this episode, because a lot of sweet new cards, and we've got to learn what they're called and what they do, and you can struggle right along with us on this episode. So not only we're going to talk about Sealed, which was what the pre-release had in store, but also Draft.
Ooh.
So we did a draft with our friends. It was really spooky.
It was.
A spooky friend draft, and of course Ixalan already on Magic Online, so yeah we can get to drafting those packs real fast.
Yep.
And you might have noticed or heard the familiar crinkle of a booster pack in my hand, and this is spoiler alert, was my prize for the pre-release. Okay. So just figure out how I did for yourself, and we're gonna crack it into a flavor text theater based on the card names of this set later in the episode. And of course, those cards will go into our Patreon drawing. Speaking of patrons, wow.
Why are you yelling?
Patrons are great.
Patrons are great.
Just makes me excited.
They're worth yelling about, but I'm not going to yell because they might be listening, and I value both them and their ears. I guess I value their ears less. Well, patrons, I'm really sorry. You heard it here. Maria values your ears less than the rest of you.
Yeah. But I mean, the rest of you is so great.
Yeah, but we value the rest of you a lot. But we're just split on the whole ears situation.
Thank you so much to everybody who's become a new member of our crazy family, the Less Than 1% Club, on patreon.com/MTAcast since our last episode. And of course, a big thank you to everybody who's been supporting us for a really long time and helping keep the show on the air, through your cat's mouth, however you choose to receive it every single week. You can join and be part of the family for as little as $1 an episode, which, as we described last week, is less than you bought your last pair of socks for.
Yes,
probably.
Or maybe it was like multiple pairs, but it's like still you can't get.
Oh, yeah.
If you're buying a singleton socks, then it's going to cost more than $4. If you're buying a package of socks, the per sock cost is probably below $4.
Yeah, sure.
You still had to purchase the package
You had to get the whole
that lower
thing.
below sock cost.
The
lower cost per sock.
sock
Required a bulk
sock
purchase
cost.
of socks, which still made your sock cost above $4 total.
Look, we're going to give you so much value.
We're a mathematics podcast in addition to being a medical and magic podcast.
Yes, we are. Certainly.
Yes. Economics really is what I think
yes, economics.
Is
everything in economics can be boiled down to the sock cost theory.
Yes.
Sock cost theory, you've probably studied it in your college economics, 301.
I would remember it, except that economics in both high school and college was my worst subject, Maria.
Why?
And I'm like by a long shot.
By a long shot?
I would say that I am easily 3 times as bad at economics as I am at literally any other subject on the face of the planet.
What about it?
I don't know. There's something about economics that my brain was just like, no. Like, hard pass on this. Like, I'm not going to do it.
Supply, demand, bull crap.
Like, that's the only graph that I was ever willing to fully grasp. I'm just like, okay, this makes sense, but the rest of it, I'm not here for it.
Oh, man.
I actually blame it. So my high school teacher was very bad.
Yeah.
And he would literally tell us something and then sometimes be like, wait, I need to check that. And would look it up in a book what he had just told us and then confirm whether or not that was true. So I feel like that set a foundation. Mm-hmm. Like, if you're building a house on a foundation, that foundation was just a pit.
Yeah,
and all my future economics learning just fell into the pit.
We could tell so many stories about bad educational experiences.
Oh, God.
We should save it for an extra special patron special.
That's right.
Because I just thought of 3 separate stories that I could tell that are all gold.
If you want to hear more about our garbage educational experiences, become a patron at patreon.com/MTAcast. Getting those extra specials. Patron specials is just one of the few ways that we try and say thank you so much for making the show possible, because it means the world to us. Also, if your favorite part of this is what we've been doing this entire time, which is not talking about magic.
Hey, we got more where that came from.
Yeah, we do.
We also want to thank our sponsor, Card Kingdom, cardkingdom.com/MTAcast. Please use that link if you're buying cards for them so they know that you support our show. You can also ask for a Magic the Amateuring sticker in your order and they'll put one in for free. That's just the kind of service that you can expect from cardkingdom.com, which is far and away regarded as the best place to buy your Magic cards. And with the release of Ixalan, you can now head over there and start getting your singles, start getting your packs for drafting with your buds, or perhaps you need a sweet deck box or something. Cardkingdom.com/MTAcast, the place to go and the place to be if you like magical things, you see. That's, we keep coming up with catchphrases for Card Kingdom and they all are terrible.
Cardkingdom.com/MTAcast. Buy your magic there.
There, that one's fine.
I mean, unimaginative, but it gets the job done.
Ixalan Prerelease.
Hey everybody, did you pre-release? Because we sure did.
We did. We pre-released hard, and we had some, pretty interesting experiences playing with the set for the very first time.
Yeah. I was particularly excited for cards.
Yeah, I mean, seems right. Seems about right.
Oh boy. Yep. I'm drinking coffee as we speak. I'm working on it, you guys.
Look, we're making progress here.
Yeah.
I've got my caffeinated highball energy beverage here. They're not a sponsor of the show, but, call us. And it's going to get us there. Pre-release is always 100% my favorite absolute favorite way to play Magic. And it's because it's a new time. You're playing with the cards for the first time. Nobody knows what they're doing. You get to hang out with your friends. Your friends are there.
Your friends are there.
Yeah, it's great.
You are all now familiar with the Pirate Boys.
Yeah, the Pirate Boys.
The Pirate Boys were there. And tomorrow, if you head over to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/magictheamateuring. Wait, what is it?
MTAcast.
Oh, damn it. YouTube.com/MTAcast, you can see our pre-release and draft night vlog, which features
the Pirate Boys.
The Pirate Boys.
Yeah. You people told us that you liked vlogs, video logs, and so we're going to put those up for you on our YouTube channel.
So there you go. You can see what we opened, although we're also going to tell you with our mouths right now. But you can see our total pools and tell us, like, you can watch us open the literal packs.
I did terribly at this pre-release, so full disclosure, you can head over there and tell me what I should have built, because you will see every card in my pool.
Maria, tell me about your pre-release.
Okay, I've been just kind of playing with my deck box here.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to pull it out just because my memory is going, as I'm an old ancient crab. And I built a white-black vampires deck.
Yeah.
Because my pool was kind of, the colors were sort of all over the place. You know how that happens sometimes, where you've got kind of an equal number of cards in every color, and you're like, oh no, what am I supposed to build?
Yeah.
I really wanted to build with green because, fatties are good and sealed, and there's a lot of good cards in green in this set. But it just wasn't going to be in the stars. So what I decided to do was go a little more aggressive, which is always a pretty big risk in a sealed format. And I did have pretty good removal in white and black. So my promo card was Settle the Wreckage, which is a one-sided wrath. Exile all attacking creatures target player controls, and then they can go get lands for the number of creatures exiled this way.
As it's been called, Wrath to Exile.
Wrath to Exile. And I used it in one game, and it was fantastic.
That card is good.
Very good.
Real good.
And what else did I have? Oh, I must have had a contract killing in black, so I needed my removal. And I had Legion's Judgment here in white, which costs 2 and white for a sorcery. Destroy target creature with power 4 or greater, which,
do you know what? We should talk about this card.
Yeah, let's do it right now.
Because I don't think that Legion's Judgment is as good as you would usually think it to be.
I agree with that statement 100%. It was fine when I played versus a dinosaur deck.
Yes.
Any other time, I did not want it in my hand.
Exactly. There were multiple. I also had one of these in my pool, and I put it in my main deck. And there were multiple times when I sideboarded it out in a game.
Absolutely.
Because it's just like, I think that my opponent in their 40 cards has literally one creature
target. Yeah.
that this card hit. And
absolutely.
That is not worth it.
And a lot of cards that you want to deal with have something like 3 power.
Yes. So usually you'd look at this and it's like, okay, this or Vanquish the Weak, which is the 2 and a black instant, destroy target creature with power 3 or less.
Yeah.
And I think that in this set, that's just a better card.
Yeah, I am 100% agreeing with that. That card just does a better job of doing its thing.
It's instant speed, and it just it kills more stuff.
Just kills.
I think.
Yeah, I agree. So Legion's Judgment, that's an early hot take on something in this format that's kind of important.
Don't play this card. I think that if you have one in your pool and you're playing white, it's correct to play your copy of it.
Yeah.
I would not play 2 copies.
No. I would not.
I would play 1 copy for sure, though. But
side it out.
Be aware and be willing to sideboard it out.
My other exciting rare was Vanquisher's Banner, which of course lets you choose a creature type. Creatures of that type get +1/+1 whenever you cast one. You get to draw a card, which is really sweet. I only ever got it out once, but it was really fun when I did it. And what I ended up doing was building my deck kind of around this card, Wanted Scoundrels, which is a 4/3 for 2. What? Wow. Amazing drawback, though. When it dies, your opponent gets 2 treasures.
Wow.
So, really dangerous card to play, and not exactly optimal in my deck because I didn't have any super ways to push it through like a Mark of the Vampire or something like that to get it in for even more damage and keep it alive. Imperial Aerosaur, of course, an all-star, which is a 3/3 flyer, which gives something +1/+1 in flying when it ETBs. But overall, this deck was just a real do not a lot deck. I splashed for a Hostage Taker, which lets you steal something and then cast it if you can. I got to hostage take something once, but then it immediately died. I don't know. It was just not powerful enough. But it was, however, fun to play. It was very fun to play, and it was fun to see what other decks people had built with like crazy dinosaurs and that kind of thing. In the end, not enough power to back up what the heck I was doing. And I talk more about this, as Megan mentioned, in the vlog. So you can check that out, youtube.com/MTAcast. It will be live on Wednesday. So the day after this episode is released. And take a look at my pool and let me know what you think.
For what it's worth, I think that if you're playing this vampire deck, I think that it's wrong to not be playing this Paladin of the Bloodstained.
I mean, I think that's a fine thing to say. It just, I thought about it. It's still kind of like just underpowered generally. Yeah. But there you go.
Yeah.
Interesting to see how, Sealed evolves from the pre-release on, given that there's so much synergy in this set. And, Vanquisher's Banner is just one card that points to how important that is. Oh, and sometimes, Banner. You just got to open synergy or you don't. Or you just make something that's a bunch of big beats. Okay, Megan.
Speaking of Vanquisher's Banner, if you have not yet watched our episode of Game Nights with the Command Zone,
yes,
head on over there and watch that. We had a blast.
It was awesome
playing against those guys, and the video is just like so amazingly well done. They care so much. They work so hard to like make it an amazing play experience, and then to make it like an amazing viewing experience for the people who are watching it. So head on over to the Command Zone's YouTube channel and check out that episode of Game Nights. I had a ton of fun.
Yeah.
You can watch Vanquisher's Banner in play.
Yeah.
We won't give you any spoilers.
But it's in play.
Gets the job done. It really gets the job done. So my pre-release packs were a little bit more kind to me. The Marias, I had a Huatli, which was great. And then I also had let's see, I'm trying to think. I had the 4/3 that
draws you cards.
No, I had the 4/3 for 4 that explores when it deals combat damage to a player.
Nice.
And then I did have Ripjaw Raptor also, which is the 4/5 with Enrage. And those are both great. And specifically because of those two, I'm not a big combat tricks person.
Yeah.
Especially not in Sealed. But for this, I did put in 1 Crash the Ramparts and 1 of the 1 mana, it gives a creature indestructible and you scry 1.
Oh.
So I put in 1 of each of those.
What color is that card?
It's in white. It's a single white? It costs a single white. I don't remember what it's called now. But anyways, just because like those 2 creatures want to get into combat so bad and they want to survive combat so bad. And like sure enough, there were a couple of times when I cast I would attack with that 4/3 and my opponent would like block with like a 3/2.
Yeah.
And I'd just be like, okay, give it +3/+3. And that card gives trample. So it's like, oh, I kill your thing and I get that explore trigger that I was looking for anyways. So it was great. I also had 2 Ixalan's Binding, which is obviously just such a good card, and a Pounce, which I love.
Yeah, Pounce, fantastic green removal. Sheltering Light is the card we were trying to think of before.
There we go. Sheltering Light. 2 Shining Aerosaurs. So I just built a green-white dinosaurs deck that splashed red for Huatli and also the 5 mana 4 damage.
Huatli's 5 mana 4 damage.
Huatli's 5 mana 4 damage. I'm not remembering the name.
I'm gonna go look.
Yeah.
But 5 mana.
Unfriendly Fire. There we go. And that one I did get to kill someone.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, it was great.
Nice.
I'd drawn my mountain the turn before, and I had attacked and put them to 1, and I drew this, and I just
you're dead.
Just cast it at their face. It was great.
Let me ask you how your experience with Huatli was. Was she fabulous? Was she everything you dreamed?
She was great. Oh. She was great. She comes down, and you look at it, it's like, okay, 5 mana for 3 loyalty.
Yeah.
Kind of seems suspicious sometimes. But you 0 her, and you make a 3/3 dinosaur.
Yeah. I assume this was a minus ability.
Yeah.
Wrong.
No, I never plussed her. She has a +2 of you gain life equal to the greatest power amongst creatures you control. And then she has a -X where it deals X damage divided between creatures or players.
Oh, nice.
I don't remember. It might not actually be between players also.
But man, just making a dino for 0 seems fantastic.
Any number of target creatures. Yeah. Okay. Creatures dealt damage, so I can't block this turn. So sometimes I would also, like, there were times when I would play her -2 her, kill 1 or 2 things, because like there's a lot of X ones.
Yeah.
So I would literally kill 2 things and then still have her at 1 loyalty and then just 0 her for the rest of the game and make dinos.
Dinos.
And it was good. It was just good enough.
Yeah.
It sure got the job done.
Awesome.
She was amazing and great. I also had I had the 6 mana. Let's see, the belligerent Brontodon, 7 mana, 4/6. And this says that creatures you control assign combat damage equal to their toughness rather than their power. So I did put in the 1/7 Looming Altasaur.
Yeah.
I also had the archers, the 1/4 archers that ping things.
Oh, you mean the 4/4 archers?
Yeah, which became 4/4 archers. So sometimes I would play this and I'd, like built out this board, like killed off their things or like binding to them. And then I'd be able to play this 4/6 and be like, okay, now this 1/4 that used to just be holding off your team is now going to start swinging in for 4.
Did you ever swing in for a 7 with Looming Altasaur?
Oh, yes. Multiple times.
You know what's so funny to me? Why is this card a 4/6?
That's what we were saying. I have no idea. My guess is it's because it says combat damage, so it's not all damage. Like if you used to pounce on this,
then
that's very different. Sure. But it does seem silly that it's 6/6.
It's just confusing. That's all. Like,
yeah. So overall, I went 3-1.
Yep.
Which I felt like was about right. Like my deck wasn't crazy broken. Like it was very solid. The round that I lost was to, like, I mulliganed and then got super flooded.
Yeah.
I played, like, the Dryads, like, the Dryads that untap a land.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then the next thing I played was the Brontodon. If you get an idea of how little my hand had going on. And then I mulliganed and got stuck on 2 lands for a long time. So I didn't play much Magic that round. But I also don't know, like, if I had won that one, I think I might have gone on to lose to, like, a deck in the 3-0 bracket. Just because I don't know that it was strong enough.
Man, belligerent Brontodon.
But it was very good.
Great.
I was super happy with my deck. And again, you can see more of it on our vlog.
Yes. So how do you feel overall about the format of Sealed in Ixalan? Fast, slow, fun, dumb, great, super great.
I think that I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun. It didn't feel particularly fast to me.
No, we definitely had rounds going to time.
Yeah.
So that's
That being said, like my first 3 rounds were all done very fast. But in part that was because of like mana issues on one side of the table or the other.
Right.
It was either me or sometimes it was my opponents. And I do feel like there's some decks that can get the job done quickly.
Yeah.
But the sealed format does feel very mid-rangey.
All right, well, mid-range sealed format is kind of probably what we're hoping for, or what at least Play Design is shooting for, to try and get a good balance where maybe you can put together an aggressive strategy if you open the cards. But yeah, I had a ton of fun too. It was great to play with dinosaurs. I didn't play with them, but to like see them eating me alive was just, you know, never thought I would say that I really enjoyed watching a dinosaur eat my face, but I did. It was fun, and people were crunching in with, and oh god, the flavor of the set is off the charts.
Yeah, it's great. Do you know? Oh, I forgot. So one other one, I had the 1 mana like single white 0/3 that makes your dinosaurs cost 1 less. So sometimes I got to play this on 6, and then also have my 0/3 be a 3/3.
Ah!
Great.
Awesome. If you have great pre-release stories and haven't sent them to us yet, please tweet at us at MTAcast. Let's talk about Ixalan Draft.
Hey everybody, we've drafted this set some.
Yeah, we did.
It was a lot of fun. We
Drafting.
Had a friend draft.
Oh, Ixalan Draft. I'm going to go out on a limb and say great.
Great. It was a lot of fun.
Tribal is so fun. It might be one of my favorite things that a draft format can bring.
We drafted it not only once, but twice.
Yes. Yeah, we couldn't be stopped.
No, we could not be stopped.
We could not physically be stopped from drafting this set.
Oh, it was a lot of fun. So, Maria, in the first draft, what was your approach?
Okay, so my approach was, I'm going to how I normally draft, which is I'm going to see what's being passed to me, what's open, and try and pick a sweet strategy. And pretty quickly I realized that Merfolk was open, which made me very happy.
Yeah.
Because that was one of the things I super wanted to draft. And let me tell you, it was sweet. Merfolk has some awesome synergies, and I got to play with Shapers of Nature.
You had not one, but two copies.
So you can pay 4 to put a +1/+1 counter on something, and you can pay 2 and a blue to remove one and draw a card. And it's just a 3/3 already.
Yeah.
Merfolk's
great card.
Great folks. Merfolks are great folks.
Merfolks are
everybody.
Great folks.
Okay? And I mean, they've just got so many cards that when I played them, I was like, this is not fair. This is just definitely not fair. And that was a lot of the green Merfolk, including the one that lets you put a +1/+1 counter on 2 different Merfolk. Vine Shaper Mystic.
Yeah.
That seems pretty broken.
That card is, quite good.
I mean, it's just like, it just seemed too good. Yeah. And River Herald's Boon, I had 2 of this card, which is 1 in green for an instant, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature, and +1/+1 counter on up to 1 target Merfolk. So that's a really, really good combat trick.
Yeah.
And you got to be afraid of it if you're playing against somebody who is playing any kind of Merfolk shenanigans. It's just great. Like I just love the +1/+1 counter synergies in this deck. Like Kumana Speaker who comes in and just like, oh, I get +1/+1 as long as I have another Merfolk or an island. I mean, I didn't have that card in my deck, but just like that's an example of that kind of situation. It was just fabulous. These fish were fabulous. They were
fabulous fish.
They didn't actually do very well, which I'm kind of still flummoxed about because the deck was sweet. I had just a good critical mass of Merfolk and ways to bounce. I had a lot of bounce to get rid of things, and I had my combat tricks, and I had my unblockable creatures. But it didn't get the job done somehow. Who knows why? But the deck was really sweet, and I loved it.
Yeah.
So that's what I have to say about that.
Nice. My first draft deck went 2-1, and it was a black-white vampires deck.
Yeah.
Splashing blue for the 4-mana draw 2.
Oh, yeah.
The
Pirates,
blue. Yeah,
whatever.
Pirates something, and you, like, make a treasure.
Yeah.
My first couple of packs were kind of weak, but I took Contract Killing. Like, I first picked Contract Killing, which is just, like, a great card. And at the end of the draft, I had, I think, 2 copies of Contract Killing and 1 of Ixalan's Binding and like a Vanquish the Week. Like my removal suite was
great.
Really nice. And that was great. And then I also I never got to. I was so sad. I had like 5 different creatures with Explore on them.
Yeah.
And I had a Lurking Chupacabra.
Wow.
But people always knew to kill the Chupacabra before I could explore. There were multiple times when I would play it on 4, and I'd have like a 5-mana, the 5-mana like 3/3 with Vigilance that has Explore on it, like in my hand for the next turn, and they just like kill it. And I was like, yeah.
People wise to the Chupacabra shenanigans
already,
and I mean. As well they should be. That card is bonk towns if you could even kill one thing with it.
It's so sweet.
Because Explorer is already amazing.
It's great.
So
we haven't talked about this yet, actually. Yeah. I love Explorer.
Explorer's fantastic.
It just feels so great. Whichever side you get. You reveal a land and you're like thank God I'm not drawing that next turn.
Exactly.
Or you reveal a spell and you get to be like, is this good for me?
Do I want
next turn? And my creature is better.
Oh, look, a +1/+1 counter.
Like, great.
Explorer,
really
great job.
Yeah.
Fabulous mechanic.
I also had like the 6-mana, like the 5 and a black 3/3 lifelinker with Explore.
Oh, yes, vampire. A Queen's Agent or something?
Yeah, exactly. And then I had, so like the rest of my creatures were like fairly vampire synergistic. I think we talked about, in the pre-release vlog, we talked about Anointed Deacon.
Yes.
The 3/3 that gives another vampire +2/+0. I did not realize it at first, but like I should have been playing that card the entire time. And I eventually sideboarded into it.
That card's great.
It's great. I also, I did open I got like past a sweet mythic.
Oh.
Waking Sun's Avatar.
Nice.
Which is the 5 white 7/7 dinosaur that when it if you cast it from your hand, it kills all non-dinosaur creatures.
Brutal.
And there were times even I played an opponent when I was playing our friend Greg.
Yeah.
He had a dinos deck, and it was game 1, and I like had this, and I still ended up casting it because even though it killed like 2 of his things, but left some others. But it was still just like, oh, now I also have this 7/7.
Seems fine.
It was like this giant 7/7. So yeah, I had a lot of fun. Queen's Agent was the lifelinker that I was thinking of. And then I also played Grim Captain's Call. Because in my deck, this deck also had 2 of the 3/4 flying dinos.
Yeah.
For 4 and a white. And a lot of times, like, we would get to a kind of a later game where I'd like killed some other things with those contract killings and traded some creatures, and then I'd Grim Captain's Call back like one of my vampires and usually a dinosaur because they like killed one of those flyers. And there were like every time it happened and I got 2 creatures back with this, people were just like, "Oh God,
yeah,
like,
it feels like cheating.
I can't fight through those again."
Right. Yeah, I think Grim Captain's Call is great. My second draft that we did, I had a pirate themed deck, and what the heck is it called? It's the 1 mana black spell that gets things back.
March of the Drowned.
March of the Drowned. Similar effect for 1 mana, and you get to return 2 pirate cards from your graveyard to hand. Also felt like total Cheatsville because they're like, oh, I did some work killing your things, and you're like, okay, they're back in my hand. What can you do?
Exactly. Like, and I feel like the first time that I ever really thought about this was in Amonkhet block when there was Wander in Death.
Yep.
And one of our friends was like, "Oh, hey, like I love having Wander in Death because it's just like limited as so much trading resources, and then you just get back 2 cards.
Yeah.
Like you get back your 2 best creatures that have died, and it just feels backbreaking sometimes." And so I really I like this March of the Drowned, and I like this Grim Captain's Call as ways to kind of eke out value when you've been trading a whole bunch of resources.
I'm just looking at this lurking Chupacabra art.
He's so sneaky.
Look at him, he's so sneaky.
He's so sneaky.
He's just lurking.
Yeah. I'm just a lurking Chupacabra.
Chupacabra.
I mean, his face is actually scary.
To be fair, that would be terrifying in the night.
His face is actually
scary.
scary.
I would scream. Yeah.
My second draft deck was a Dinos deck.
Dino deck.
It was a lot of fun.
Dinos.deck. Was it green-white again?
Yeah. Let's see. Was it no? It was green-red.
Oh, all right.
It was a green-red Dinos. It was great. I had the I loved having the 5/5. It was green-white and then wait. No, it was green-white splashing red.
Okay.
Because I had the 3/5 for 6 with the Enrage, and it puts a counter on all of your other creatures. I remember that. And then I had the 5/5 for 5 for 3 green-red. It's a 5/5 that it deals 1 damage to all other creatures when it enters the battlefield.
That's legit.
The card is just sick. So yeah, that one was just like much more straightforward. Raging Swordtooth. And that's the draft where I first picked a Carnage Tyrant.
Oh, that draft.
What a dino. What a dino.
Of Carnage Tyrant.
That's a 7/6 that has hexproof and trample.
Oh, you mean just like, can you do anything about it ever?
No, you can't.
You can't. That card is nuts, completely nut bones, and is now the most expensive card in the set.
Yeah.
So we're probably going to be seeing it in standard. Megan, how do you feel about Carnage Tyrant making an appearance?
Do you know what? It can go away. It just... do you know what? It dies to fumigate, so... Nah.
I thought you were going to start hating on having a second Siege Rhino. Wait, to be seen.
No, okay, because do you remember there was this card for a while? What was it? It was like Gaia's Revenge, I want to say. And that one had haste even.
Man, I don't remember this card.
Yeah, it's because it wasn't the nemesis of your deck.
Huh. Gaia's Revenge?
Yeah, it was like a green creature that had like uncounterable. Let's see, we'll look it up. It was like
there it is. Oh yeah,
5
this
green
guy.
Green. Can't be countered, haste, and can't be the target of non-green spells or abilities from non-green sources.
Yeah.
This is an 8/5. And like this card was like fine.
Yeah.
But it wasn't, like people played this out of their sideboard.
That's true.
Back when this set was happening. So we'll see. Carnage Tyrant might be more of a thing because there is that Teamer Energy deck right now. Mm-hmm. So it's like I can definitely see a reason why it's like, oh, if you already have this like Teamer Energy stuff with like Bristling Hydras, you might as well have like a 6-mana card that is pretty brutal for control if they don't have a Wrath immediately.
Oh man, I love this guy's horns.
Yeah,
they're so horns. Cute.
So yeah, that draft was a lot of fun, and I liked that it was very different.
Yeah.
Like my vampires deck was pretty, like my creatures were pretty small, and it focused more on just maintaining control of the board with like removal spells, with getting creatures back after trading a whole bunch, and then like killing them with some flyers and stuff like that. And then this one was just like big stompy dinosaurs.
Big stuff.
Big stompy dinosaurs are coming for you. Oh, wait, I also had go up a little bit.
Who dis?
I got past like 3rd pick, Awaker of the Wilds. Not in pack 1, but in like pack 2. This card is busted. In case you were ever looking at this card and you're like, is this good?
Yeah, it is.
The answer is yes.
You just get to pay whatever you want, whenever you want, to put counters on something.
X green, put X +1/+1 counters on target land you control. That land becomes a 0/0 elemental creature with haste. It's still a land. It's a 3/3 for 2 green. That card was sick. If it stuck around, I just won because I made all my creatures and all my lands into creatures.
No, you just have creature lands. Yeah,
and
fabulous.
You can make one, and then like if you need to, you can like get it into combat and then put more counters on it in the middle of combat. It's just
so good.
It's really good. It's great.
My second deck was, as I mentioned, some pirate boys and girls, and I did not think was going to do well. It finished better, however, than my Merfolk at 2/1, and the centerpiece for me was Deadeye Plunderers, which is a nice little gold card in the set. For 5, you get a 3/3, and it gets +1/+1 for each artifact you control, and plus here, it's 2 blue-black, and you can create a treasure. So it's going to pump itself up and give you some treasures on the way. Yeah, this card was great and was kind of a little bit of an engine in the deck. Yeah. And I had a lot of like tiny little flyers that were flying through the air, which I didn't know how lame or how not lame they would be. It turned out they were, just fine.
Yeah. Got the job done.
Got the job done. Cards like Daring Saboteur, which can get in unblocked. Depths of Desire was a card I used not only in this Pirates deck, but also in my Merfolk deck because it was kind of like a nice little tempo-based strategy to be able to get in when I didn't have, a lot of straightforward removal. Siren Lookout is the card I was thinking of. 2 and a blue for a 1/2 flyer, and it explores when it enters the battlefield, which, I think it's fine. Nothing to really write home about, but that's what I was doing. Cards like that and Stormfleet Aerialist, which is a 1/2, which comes in with a +1/+1 counter if you had raid. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah, Water Tap Weaver, by the way. This Merfolk Wizard that's a 2/2 for 3. I had it in my Pirate deck and in my Merfolk deck. This is Frost Link on performance enhancing drugs because it's just great. Because it's a Merfolk is what I'm saying is you have an additional Merfolk synergy.
Like that's what you're opening up synergies. Nice.
Yeah.
That card is great. I'm a big fan of it.
Big fan.
So I 2-1'd both drafts, and both times I lost to our friend Matt, who drafted both times. Just a super aggro blue-red deck.
Yeah, like
and boom. It just like crushed.
It crushed.
It was so aggro. Definitely still a thing that can happen.
Absolutely.
Twice I got by the 2 and a blue counter a spell if unless its controller pays 4, and it costs 1 less if you control a pirate.
Oh yeah.
That card got me, and he was playing it in that aggro deck. And then another time he just like had that the 1 and a the thing that gives something +2/+2 and flying.
Yes.
He like stuck that on
you're like,
a big creature, and I'm like, yeah, I'm dead.
He's like, do you have removal? Do you have removal?
Yeah.
Lookouts Dispersal is the spell that cares about pirates. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, it's definitely a viable strategy. So that's always one of the questions we ask ourselves in a new format. Can you play aggro? And if so, how fantastic is it? Turns out pretty good. Still pretty good.
Yeah. So something else that we noticed this weekend, Maria.
Yeah.
And over the draft also is how viable it is to splash because of treasure.
Yep. Yes, absolutely. Treasure helps you so much and can get you ahead in a game out of kind of nowhere.
Yeah.
If you manage to create some treasure early.
It's pretty cool. And like a card like Contract Killing, it's nice because it's like, oh, 5 mana sorcery removal can kind of put you behind. But because it creates 2 treasures, it's like, oh, on my next turn, I can look at casting like 7 to 8 mana's worth of spells.
Right.
Using these treasure tokens. And that's pretty great. And it let me, like I said in that black-white deck with contract killings and stuff, I did pick up 2 different rare lands that were wheeling at the table.
Yeah.
Which helped. But like I splashed that blue spell with like these 2 dual lands and off of treasures. And it's like, okay.
You know what? This is
another very doable
random thought I have about this draft format.
Yeah.
1-drops.
What about them?
There's a lot of 1-drops. And I think they're being a kind of a little bit pushed in this set. And they're like viable. Okay. So the 0/3 that makes your dinosaurs cost less. You can play that card.
Yeah.
There's a red 1-drop that if it has raid and has first strike, and if you activate raid, of course, you get a +1/+1 counter, becomes a 2/2 first striker. Yeah. Is that for 1? I think so. So like,
red.
And there's a black 1-drop.
You have the whole cycle of 1-drops that have an ability on them.
Yes.
For a lot more mana. The green one is 2 mana, but like you have the red one that for 8 deals 3 damage to 2 different things. The black one, which is the little bat, which can
drain for 4, gain for 4.
I think for at 7 or 8 mana, drain 4, gain 4. The blue one, which draws you cards.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's just an interesting little thought that I think is kind of neat to explore that 1-drop spot and see what we can do with it. Not to mention Opt, which
great
exists and is fabulous.
Yeah.
As always.
So while we wrap this up, we have a question over from our Discord.
Yeah.
Which if you would like to ask a question just on a show when we're not specifically doing like a full mailbag, the best way to be able to do it is be a patron of the show and head on over to that Discord chat and drop that question into our mailbag, which is its own channel. So this question, Maria, can you read it from here?
Yeah.
I can't read it from
Thank
here.
you for this question, Yoda Muppet. Might need to see some more limited play first, but what are your thoughts on the suitability of Ixalan in limited? So that's just like overall.
Yeah, like so far, I think that it has, it's very cool in that I haven't played a tribal synergistic draft format yet.
Yeah.
And it's a very cool environment to be playing in so far.
I love it. I absolutely love it. I thought I would have to wait for Lorwyn 2, whenever that would come back around, to have this much fun with tribal. So I'm super in.
I think it's gonna be an exciting environment for people, especially who have never played this kind of draft format before, to have a really good time playing around and seeing like how hard can you push those synergies.
You know what I was thinking when I was drafting these merfolk? I was like, I don't want to put any card in this deck that's not a merfolk.
Yeah.
That's just like not. And you know, I think that I had 1 or 2 that weren't, and it made me mad because I wanted it to be only merfolk.
Why aren't you a merfolk? Why aren't you?
I just want it to be 100%, and like people are gonna have those 100% pure like tribal synergy decks, and I think that's so great. And it was just really funny. I was having that reaction, like I don't want to put this card, but I'm merfolk. I'm making a fish deck. We also have another question, which is a really important question here from Burned Head. I'm looking to upgrade the cat I use to listen to MTA. What casting cost and power/toughness should I look for in an MTA broadcast cat?
That's great.
Great question.
Great question. Do you know what? Going back to a very recent card, I think something like a Regal Caracal.
Oh, yes.
Is going to be a really great broadcasting cat because you have your main broadcast cat, which is its 3/3. But you're also going to have the 2 other additional cats for if your main broadcast ever goes down.
Right. And you can keep 1 in the garage if you're like, working on some project out there. You've got your tiny little 1/1 cat broadcasting.
Yeah, exactly. And then you can put the other 1/1 upstairs.
Upstairs.
In your in the 10% bathroom of your foyer.
Of your foyer home. And the 3/3's down. And it's going to look good because it's a Regal Caracal. So it's like fancy.
Yeah. So when it's not broadcasting, it's going to look nice.
Yeah.
I think that if you're looking for a new broadcast cat, that's a good place to start.
Please continue sending us some pictures of your broadcast cats.
It's great.
They're great.
It's great.
All right, here we have it. The first time we are ever cracking an Ixalan booster on this show for Flavor Text Theater.
Ooh.
Here we go.
Wait, which one are we playing?
Oh,
movie pitches.
Movie pitches is usually
always the first one.
Our
we do.
first. So putting it face down there, we've got a forest and a vampire. Ooh, spooky. All of these cards, as I mentioned earlier, going into the drawing for a patron. So many perks when you're a patron. Besides just the feeling of feeling like a gosh darn good person. That's just that's just a fact. Now we are going to pitch you some sweet movies. So if you're a movie executive at Warner Brothers, first of all, that's cool that you listen to our podcast. Second of all, give us a call after you hear some of these gems. Just think about it. Just think about it.
Okay. Do you remember? There's like, it's based on one of the very dark versions of a fairy tale.
Okay.
And I'm not remembering which one it is.
What happens in it?
In the very dark version of this, there's a queen who bathes in the blood of young girls because it's the way that she stays young.
Oh.
It's like some really effed up magic.
Put those kids to bed with that.
Exactly. Right? Do you know
Mom,
what?
will you bathe in my blood to stay young?
The past was a different time and place. Or sometimes the same place, but a different time always. Anyways, so this is the story of that queen, and
sick,
and it's all about, it's actually her, right? Because I think that in this fairy tale, it's about like conquering her, like it's like whoever fights her, or whatever. But anyways, this is about it's like the movie of her backstory, of like what happened to this queen to like make her so invested and always looking forever young, and like she didn't start out a person who was willing to bathe in the blood.
No, I don't think anybody does.
She became that person, right? She was twisted.
Something happened.
She was twisted, but it's called Ritual of Rejuvenation.
Ooh, I definitely want to see that. That sounds great. My movie is kind of a Goonies type situation. It's going to be a group of young kids hanging out in the backyard, and they get the idea to build like their own siege weapons. This is based on my own life from when I built a trebuchet in high school.
Yeah.
And they're building like that kind of stuff. They've got wooden swords, and they're having a good time, and they build a cannon. But what they decide to do is put like, they're like, oh, we need something to put in this cannon to blast it. Like, these kids are not safe. They're not following safety protocols. We gotta blast something out of the cannon. And one of the young kids is like, oh, my grandpa, he was in the war. He's got a cannonball up in the attic. And he runs up in the attic and gets the cannonball and puts it in the cannon despite his grandpa's warnings to never touch his old war paraphernalia. He shoots the cannon. Out of the cannonball was magic, and they all go back in time and have to fight and like save the day in a crazy kid adventure and try and find their way back to their present day.
Yeah.
And it's real fun because it's called Fire Cannon Blast.
This is like the alternative Time Bandits.
Yes, exactly.
Perfect.
I love those kinds of movies.
Okay, so this is the story of a high school spelling bee team.
Ooh, I'm in already.
And they're going to nationals, and there's one kid on the team, and there's obviously a bunch of them. But the one like star spelling kid is otherwise kind of like having a really tough time because he's realized that he's gay, but he's still in the closet and he doesn't like know how to come out. Yeah. And there's also, and he's super in love with another guy on the team who's a very out gay guy. Aww. But he really doesn't know like how to express that, or how to like tell his school or his classmates or his family about any of it. And he eventually finally like tells the other kid on the team. Yeah. And they start dating in secret because he doesn't want to come out. But eventually the other kid is like, I'm not willing to be in a secret relationship. Yeah. Like, I've spent a lot of my time like, I developed my identity as a kid, and I'm not going to essentially go back in the closet for you and like hide a relationship when I don't hide who I am. And so he's eventually at the National Spelling Bee.
And the word is love.
The other kid eventually confesses his love for his classmate in front of everybody and lets everybody know by spelling the other kid's name, which is Pierce. It's spelled Pierce.
Your word is Pierce, and that's when he's like, oh, you know what, Pierce, I love you, man. Okay, that's great. Definitely watching that. Okay. My movie is another high school kind of romantic comedy. And in this, there's a girl who is kind of shy and I would say like mousy and unsure of herself, and but really wants to fit in and go hang out at the prom and have a good time. Her best friend, she doesn't have many friends. Her best friend is her cat, Mischief, and one day after she like cries because there's a bad incident at school, Mischief turns into a human. And is like, look, okay, I'm a magical cat, and I'm going to come to school and be your human friend or whatever, and help you become cool. And of course, there's a whole, where this girl gets, too full of herself after making it with the cool kids because her cat Mischief taught her how to do it, and they go to the dance, and the cat, and then eventually the cat's like, you've got to tell that guy you like that you like him after all I've taught you from teaching you how to be a better person by giving you cat tips. Like, Yep. You've just got to go for it. And they become best friends again, and the cat turns back into a cat in the middle of the dance and like leaves the tux on the ground, and a cat jumps up, meow. Anyway, and she goes for it and pounces on the guy she likes in the end. It's called Pounce.
Wow.
I feel like that's like a Sabrina the Teenage Witch situation.
So this is about a whole bunch of like undergrads and grad students in college, and they all live in a cooperative, like in a commune, right?
Yeah.
So it's like a house with like 15 people. And they all live there, and they're having a great time. But then they get on the wrong side of the campus witch.
The campus witch.
School.
Yeah, every campus has one.
Who decides to send the entire house back in time.
Oh.
So she sends them back in time, all the way back to the time of the dinosaurs. But it turns out that because they were such a great cooperative living household, they're like totally fine. It's called Commune with Dinosaurs, but it's like commune
with dinosaurs. This next one is a TV show that's definitely going on the Food Network. It's a cooking show, but everyone who competes is reenactors of famous people from the past. So there's a Benjamin Franklin reenactor. There's somebody who's playing George Washington, and there's somebody who's playing Mark Twain, who will come out victorious in this celebrity cooking show with Faces of the Past. Find out next time on Slice and Twain.
Oh my God. Okay, this one is the origin. We've had the origin story of Wolverine. In this one, we get the origin story of Storm.
Ooh, excellent.
And it's about, her family and her past and her childhood and all that. It's called Storm Sculptor.
Oh, yeah. I definitely see that. This next film is just basically a Twilight backstory. To figure out, did we ever learn what was his name? Edward became a vampire in his deal?
I'm sure
we probably did. Anyway, you're going to see a whole freaking movie about it. It's called Glorify of Dusk.
Okay, so this one is about a group of people who need who realize that, so they've always been we'll say that there's two towns, right?
Yeah.
And one town has always been about like scientific innovation, and so they have ways to they've essentially developed flying machines.
Sweet.
And because of that, they're able to go like up into the cloud, which is its own separate kingdom. They have like peace with the people of the cloud kingdom. They get to travel to all these wonderful faraway places. And then the other town has always been more about being very practical. And very like homemade craftsy. And so they are like beautiful artisans and stuff like that, and they have all this beautiful stuff. But then they realize that they in order to help them expand, they also need to be able to get in touch with all these other people. And so they're like, we need to steal flight mechanism from this other town. And so they go in the middle of the night and they capture a man who they believe is responsible for building flying machines, but it turns out that he doesn't make flying machines, he just makes shoes, and they don't understand the difference. So they make him make flying machines, but he doesn't make them well because he's just a cobbler. It's cobbled wings.
Oh, shoe wings. This is a film where there's a family of kind of superheroes where they can all run really fast, and and, fix crime from running fast. But they have one daughter who can't run fast. In fact, she runs really slow, and she's kind of the outcast of the black sheep of the superhero family because she's slow. And, her dad's kind of her confidant and is always like, one day you'll find your power. I'm sure you have it within you when you most need it. And it turns out that she couldn't run fast on the ground, but instead she can control the wind. I'm pretty sure this is already a movie. Where it's like The Last Airbender or something. Because she can ride on the wind faster than any of them can run and saves the day. Windstrider.
Nice. This one is about, the movie Frozen?
Yeah.
And Elsa goes, out into the frozen north and constructs her giant ice palace. And this movie is just like... It's just like the day-to-day of the people who have to run that place.
Of the palace? It's like,
of the palace, exactly.
Ice palace.
They're like cold all the time, and they're like trying to cook food, but if they like cook stuff, it gets too hot and it melts the ice, and so they're like constantly trying to figure out how they're supposed to like run a kitchen and stuff. And everything's uncomfortable. It's called Glacial Fortress.
This next movie is about... it's similar in that it's about chefs on a ship. And I swear to God, this could be a real show about a submarine chef or a chef on a cruise ship and like what they're doing.
Yeah.
And it's just got a really cute punny title called Chart a Course.
I'll be honest. I would watch a show that was just telling me like the life of a cook on a submarine.
Yeah.
I'd be like, yeah, here for it.
I just thought about it and I was like,
this.
Why isn't this a show? I would watch this. Life on a submarine is so interesting. And then you got your cute little title.
Tell us what you would or would not watch.
Yeah, of these films.
Of these titles at MTAcast on Twitter.
Glacial Fortress, the rare from this pack as well, which is not too shabby.
Nice.
Be a patron and you get a chance to win these cards. Everybody, if you're living in an ice castle, our condolences, but thanks for listening to the show anyway.
That's right. I'm really impressed that you get a signal to get this however you're getting it.
Yeah.
Cat's mouth. Phone. Because you can find this podcast on iTunes, on Stitcher, on the internet.
Yeah.
On our website, magicallyamateuring.com. On the Patreon feed.
On Patreon, anywhere. If you have a podcast app that you like using, we have our RSS feed available on our website, magicallyamateuring.com. You can go over there and subscribe however you choose to get your audio delights. You got it. You can also sub to our videos on YouTube because not only is this a podcast, it is a video cast. And if you want to see our faces while we talk nonsense, hit that little sub button on YouTube, youtube.com/MTAcast.
You can also check out this week's upcoming vlog, which, as we mentioned, is about our pre-release and draft nights. You can see a little bit more specifically the cards and synergies and stuff that we're talking about.
And get a cute look at our favorite local game store, as well as my house. I don't know.
There you go.
You want to see? If you want to see
when you look at it, guess which one is which.
Is this the game store or Maria's?
Or is this a home?
Oh, okay. Well,
I don't know.
Thanks again to our sponsor, cardkingdom.com/MTAcast. Put that link in your browser whenever you want to buy some cards. We just had somebody tweet at us that they're like, I ordered on Friday and it got here on Saturday.
Jeez.
So, that's nuts. So they're just a great place. Remember to ask for your free MTA sticker in your order when you're going there. And just generally have a good week. Take some you time. Listen to our podcast on 2 times speed. It's a different experience. If you want to hear all of this craziness all over again.